Both players have kept 7. Basic Mountain for Derek to start us off. Chromox. Chromox, of course, brand new card from Itherdrift. Pyrogoyf. Chalice on 1.
Pitching. Go on.
All right, the force check is happening. Force of Will pitching Ponder to stop Chalice of the Void. Good start to the game.
Yep.
Okay, Mishra's Bobble's going to take a look at what's going on here. Roland could, of course, then fetch to shuffle away the card on top if it's not going to work, and that's what happens. Roland digs up a basic island, knowing he's up against potential Blood Moons. Good plays from Roland.
No.
Yeah, a lot of other choices.
Voodoo Games is here, excited for the whole thing.
I'm at 18. Yeah, I'm at 18. Yeah, we're both at 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cycle is
1, 2.
This used to be. Oh yeah. This used to be show. Yeah, go ahead.
Ponder shuffle for Roland, perhaps looking for interaction. Delusional Kraut has arrived. Is the upcoming announcement about the post-ban 90s MTG outrage tier list? Yeah, so we have big announcements coming up for 90s MTG, potentially. And people are trying to figure out what those will be.
This format sucks, guys. All right, go ahead.
I'll draw for Ponder.
If you reanimate, I'm gonna scoop.
I'm going to play this and check out what you go for it.
All right, Roland's going to take a look at the top of Derek's deck. It looked like a land.
Upkeep, yep. You drew 2, right?
Yep,
Draw.
drew 2.
So Derek has reached 3 mana. A lot of things in this deck cost 3 mana, 4 mana. Chalice of the Void attempted again.
Stop it, Derek.
No.
Force pitching days.
Force pitching days. Roland stops another Chalice on 1. Derek made 2 attempts. 4 cards used up by Roland. 2 cards in the trash for Derek. Brainstorm for Roland now. AJ Potato with a great question. Chris, do you plan on traveling to any events this year? I don't have anything on the calendar yet. It's possible I'll travel to events this year, but nothing is on the calendar as of right now.
2 cards left.
2.
Yeah.
Looks like Derek's hand is Blood Sun, and I couldn't see that. Some modal double face card.
16.
Roland fetching now. Was it Shatter Skull smashing? Okay, Twitch chat was able to read it. It's a little small on my screen.
All that just to get a DRC.
It's always worth it.
I believe it's a 3/3 now. Yep. Delirious.
Yeah, you should be delirious.
Yep.
Okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler comes in for Roland.
I'll pay 3 life, 17.
17, yep.
Okay, paying 3 life, going to 17. That must have been the land we saw. Okay, it sounds like it's Volcanic Fissure.
How many cards? 2. Only 2?
I'll make you.
Blood Sun?
What's this one again?
14.
When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. All lands lose abilities except mana abilities. So, any of my fetch lands and
You have like Caracas or
Wasteland also.
Wasteland Shut. Like you can use Wasteland for mana though.
13.
That's fine.
Draw?
Okay, Blood Sun resolves. Blood Sun's kind of a weird card, an interesting card. You don't see it much in Legacy, but it can be really disruptive, especially in some matchups. You know, think about like Dark Depths decks and stuff like that. Decks packed with lands that have other abilities. Cloud Post, you know.
I have 3.
These 3 on top. Draw.
Delver's
Roland continues to cantrip, plays a Delver now, attacks with Dragon's Rage Channeler. Roland is delirious, so we have a clock up and running.
I mean, you get points if you know what it is, but essentially everyone has to make up for like.
Paraguay?
Go.
Every turn, Derek is just dropping something nasty so far. Here's Paragoyf now.
Artifact, instant, sorcery, land.
You get points if you get.
I figured you had one. Artifact, instant, sorcery, land.
You have 2 cards.
I have 2 now.
Anarchy Inducer arrives in the chat. Haven't missed anything yet. This is the first round of the stream.
To any one target, though, right?
It was just 1-1.
Yeah, well, it's not.
You are forcing it, I figured.
Wow, Roland had the force pitching force. Paragoyf is countered. I think Roland's out of Force of Wills now, right? That's all 4?
I'll just pass.
Roland having all 4 Force of Wills near the top of the deck is pretty good for a matchup like this. Roland draws a Bolt, attacks for 6. Presenting lethal possibly on the next turn.
So now,
If not next turn, perhaps the turn after. Derek could be in trouble here. Derek scoops it up. Roland managed to get that one. Fought off 4 consecutive nasty spells from Derek and then attacked for lethal with a bolt. And you can imagine if Roland didn't have those 4 Force of Wills, Roland just gets run over in that game. Wouldn't have been able to even play the Creature's Edge Chalice on 1 resolved.
take the rest. 4. Yeah.
Seems like players thinking about mulligans here. Not sure who we're waiting for.
Go for it.
All right, both players kept 7. Derek starts us off. Basic Mountain, pass the turn. All right. Not that explosive of a start. Curious what hand Derek kept here. Mishra's Bauble, take a look. City of Traders on top of the library.
Go.
Wow, just dropping a Basic Mountain and passing the turn is Derek. Okay, okay. Is this a bad start to game 2 for Derek? Kept 7, no plays, turns 1 and 2.
Trinisphere?
Turn 3, Trinisphere.
Sure.
Go.
I remember I went
No fetch.
Fridays in the summer. There would be so many people.
Okay, Wasteland and City of Traders prevents Roland from having 3 mana, but also prevents Derek from having 3 mana, which could be more important. Ah, okay, so Derek plays another City of Traders. Derek back up to 4. Roland has no plays right now. This is Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
There were no seats. One time there's a
I'm gonna pass after that.
Thank you, Mr. Bips. Appreciate that. Anybody with badges in the chat, badges in the YouTube comments, badges in the Discord, thank you for keeping this thing alive. Mentioned it briefly over the last couple of weeks, but a few times. But we just passed 5 years of streaming on Twitch as an affiliate, and couldn't do it without all of your help. Thank you, everybody. No matter how long you've been a member, you've been a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's pitching first? Sink into soup.
So a Goblin Shaman for Derek will help with the whole Trinisphere situation. Roland reached 3 lands, though. Roland will be able to do stuff now. Cyanorna says you can do it. Thank you, Cyanorna. Cyanorna's been with us a long time. As the badge shows.
I'm going to...
Fable of Mirrorbreaker reaching Chapter 2. Derek thinking about what to do with that situation.
Force it. Negation. Combat.
Okay, Derek skipping it. Moving to combat. Sounds like we have what we need. Which is a bad sign for Roland, if we're being honest.
19.
Is Roland going to bolt this Goblin Shaman? Needs to tap out to do it, which could put shields down. Finds a basic island, which makes sense against the Blood Moon deck.
Take 3 damage to it.
3 damage to it.
Sorry, I'm a bit indecisive.
A braid. A braid on the Goblin Shaman. Is it better to abrade the Trinisphere? Ooh, I don't know. That's tough.
I'll leave 1 colorless floating. Terrible.
Here's Paragoyf. It's a nasty one.
Land. I'll hit you for 3.
Only 3 power at the moment, so 3 damage comes into Roland from the Paragoyf's ETB, as we used to call it. Reflections of Kiki Jiki will be summoning sick, but on the board on the next turn, I assume. If Paragoyf continues to exist and Reflections of Kiki Jiki continues to exist, Roland might just die to Paragoyf triggers.
Plus, I'm sure if there are
Waste.
so
Predict
the
it.
opposite.
This is the second draw.
Roland goes after the city with the Wasteland, drops Derek back down to 2 lands in play. Maybe Roland's plan here is to cut Derek off of mana, shut down his plays, and fight through a Trinisphere and win. How likely is that going to work? I don't know. We're going to find out.
I'll add 3.
The Pyrogoyf is going to be hard to kill with a Lightning Bolt.
I wish I could have that mana right now.
Witch Enchanter as a land, Lotus Petal, and then I'll pass the turn.
Yeah, 2 times turn in.
Only 1. I only
One
have
type of lands, okay.
Yeah, it's just land, artifact, and instant.
Second main.
Still 3 power on the Pyrogoyf. Roland checking on that. That Reflections of Kiki Jiki could potentially be a disaster, though. Looks like Derek only has 1 card in hand.
Yep.
Looks like a 4/4 Murktide is coming in, shrinking the Pyrogoyf. Good plays here from Roland. Pyrogoyf down to 1 power. Pretty sad. Reflections of Kiki Jiki comes in. Does Derek have a 3rd land? No. Okay, so Roland's plan appears to be working here. Murktide is bigger than this Pyrogoyf.
Yep. Swords. 20. Go.
Reflections of Kiki Jiki still with Pyrogoyf on the next turn. I've said it twice already, but things could get ugly for Roland here. Could even shoot down the Murktide. if Derek can get more types in the yard somehow, or if Roland helps out and puts types in the yard. It's going to be a tricky next few turns to navigate for Roland.
16.
Okay, attacking with Murktide. That's 4 power coming in. Passing the turn with 3 mana open, which is enough to cast any spell, basically. Derek does not have 3 mana right now.
So he's 4, right? Yeah. I'll take 4. Sure.
All right. Derek has the Pyroglyph and the Reflections of Kiki-Jiki online. Getting attacked by this Murktide, though. Does Murktide win this race?
I'm going to use Reflection Kiki-Jiki to attempt to make a copy of Pyroglyph.
No.
That's fine.
All right. Petty theft on the Pyroglyph in the key moment. That was pretty huge for Roland. Bounce the Pyroglyph. Reflections of Kiki-Jiki now has nothing to play with. Derek has no 3rd land. Brazen Borrower on an adventure. Could be a way to speed up the clock on the following turn. Reflections of Kiki-Jiki might as well attack, yeah. I think we missed an attack with Pyroglyph last turn.
Trigger.
4.
Yep, I'm
I got an 8.
4. 7 mana.
Pyroglyph, Murktide rather, attacks. Drops Derek to 8. Still only 1 type in graveyards, but Derek's going to need a soul land if Pyroglyph is going to come back. Attacking with Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. Bad sign for Derek.
Use all 4.
Move to end step?
4
And one of the doctors is on the. I actually don't
This is very
know.
good.
He's like the chance to get
On my turn, go to 4.
I'll respond.
Okay, a Brainstorm from Roland on Derek's end step, it sounds like. Exile Simian Spirit Guide in response, and whoa, what's going on here? Pyroblast on the Murktide. Okay. Murktide getting blown up is pretty big for Derek.
So that 4? Or is that instant sorcery creature? Only instant sorcery creature. This creature now, yeah. So it's 5. 5.
Op says, good evening, everyone. Time to watch the best Legacy stream. Thank you for that. Thanks for being here.
If you get, if you play it enough,
Attack card, but these 2 back.
Yeah.
3. I'm gonna trigger the Seasoned Engineer. Explore.
Passing it back to Roland, who just lost that Murktide. That hurt. Has Brazen Borrower on an adventure, though, which could flash in, potentially on Derek's next end step. Derek having that Pyroblast was pretty big. This game is not over.
Yep.
Vantage bar swung back to the center, I think, after Murktide got shot down. Yeah, that was me in the background casting a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Wow. If you want to see what deck I played in my first event post bans, head over to our Discord and check the Decklist channel.
Move to combat? Just
Choose not to play that.
I think I broke the format again. Reflections of Kiki-Jiki comes in.
sending phase. I'm gonna go to 5.
So it's 5.
All right, going down to 5, playing a Volcanic Fissure again. Derek has reached 3 mana. In play.
6. I'll respond.
Yep.
Trying to flash in Brazen Borrower. It's getting Pyroblasted, though. Pyroblast been pretty good in this game. Passing it back to Roland. Derek's at 5. Yeah, this Trinisphere has made this game interesting, that's for sure.
Yes, okay, but aren't these expensive? The sheets and stuff.
Derek keeping an eye on the types in the yard. See him counting now. I think we're back up to 3 types. There is a Pyroglyph in Derek's hand, right?
8 total.
And reflections of Kiki Jiki in play. Derek could potentially make some big plays. If anything, it seems like Derek might actually be favored in this game at this point. Roland just discards a meltdown to hand size. Has no creatures in play. I think I just saw a Fury in Derek's hand too. Does that end the game here? Wait. Oh no. Well, I'm an idiot. Fury can't deal damage to a player. Ooh, Broadside Bombardiers is a nasty one though.
No, but so I cast Tale of Summer.
33. How much force did they lose, by the way?
Would also need to pay 3 mana for Fury, which is something worth noting.
We gotta mill 1 more. Oh, 1 more.
Trinisphere is a weird card. It definitely is hurting both players, and usually that's kind of the point, I guess.
It can be anything.
But as the Stompy player, you want it to affect you a bit less. So a daze on the Bombardiers is pretty good for Roland. Attacking for 2, dropping Roland to 8 now. Roland's still in a very precarious life total. Derek can deal 8 damage pretty easily. Especially now, it looks like there are 4 types in graveyards. Creature, instant, sorcery, land. That's what I'm seeing. Derek keeping an eye on the graveyards. Dragon's Rage Channeler to tap out. This game could end right now.
The wasteland on my white killed me.
I think I see a Broadside Bombardiers in Derek's hand as well. Fury pitching Pyroglyph. Kill Dragon's Rage Channeler. Letting it die. Attacking for 2. Okay.
I have 4.
At minimum, Roland needs to kill this Reflections of Kiki Jiki. Roland just passes the turn.
7. You have 7, right?
I have 7.
Draw.
Okay, Roland has 7 cards in hand.
Broadside Bombardiers.
Broadside Bombardiers. Is that game?
It was very close. I just needed him to try to counter my Shunkel, but it didn't have. So my Veil of Summer was going to let me draw Ponder, and then I stocked up on top, so I could.
Okay, Force of Will pretty good here. Force pitching Force of Negation. Bombardiers is countered. Roland will drop to 3. We saw Roland earlier in this game using a Braid to not kill Trinisphere. Taps out for Hydroblast, killing Reflections. This game is tight.
So you're telling me I have to drop my deck? I know, but it's just a hassle for me to like get the cards.
Really tapped out. Chromox.
Okay, Chromox. Roland is fine with that. Imprinting a Fury. Roland probably relieved that that's the play for that turn for Derek. But Roland knows that Derek now just reached 4 mana.
Green hand.
3 cards in Derek's hand. Any one of them could be a card that just ends the game.
I'll name human. I'll pass.
I'll pass.
The circumstances has both players kind of restricted to one spell per turn cycle. Derek drops a 5th land, can now hardcast Furies potentially. I see the One Ring, I think.
Human. Go.
How many cards?
Have 5 cards.
The One Ring?
The One Ring could be a big problem for Roland, but Derek's life total is really low. Should Roland? Oh man, it's a tough call. Force pitching Ponder. I guess you can't let it resolve, right? Roland's at 2, Derek's at 5. All right, passing it back to Derek. What does Derek have here? Another Fable of the Mirror Breaker, not the worst for Roland. 2 cards left for Derek. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, of course, makes a 2/2 creature, which could attack for lethal, but at least the game doesn't end immediately. If this Fable resolves, Roland can do something afterwards. Another Force of Will. All right, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is countered. Passes it back to Roland. This has been a hell of a game.
That's fine.
Roland plays a creature, a Delver of Secrets. With a Lightning Bolt, Roland can end the game on the following turn.
Dead to deal 2 damage.
All right, removal spell, Dead Gone, kills Delver. Roland plays a replacement.
13. Is that right? I took 7. Yep.
Pyrogoy?
Pyrogoyf ends the game. All right, what a battle. Well played in game 2. Going to game 3. Sheesh. I was stressed out. Game 3, Roland will be on the play. Casey Gregor arrives in the chat. Former Hype Train conductor. Who are the current Hype Train conductors, actually? I have no idea. Do we have the current Hype Train conductor watching right now?
I didn't draw any of my thoughts. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm playing here.
I have the one.
Yeah, people like Derek's sleeve choices on 90s MTG. Getting ready to go, game 3. Roland starts with a Polluted Delta. Volcanic Island, play draw pretty important here.
Yeah.
Roland will have Daze potentially available on Derek's turn 1, which is pretty good.
This fight just kills me.
I was skeptical of Derek starting that game too as well. There was like a few turns where it just didn't do anything. Derek may be a more patient Stompy player than I am. I tend to be, compared to the average Magic player, especially Legacy player, I tend to be an aggressive mulliganer. Going after Roland here with a Chalice on 1 on turn 1. Chromox, of course, imprinted red. All right, Chalice resolves, so Roland's got to fight through a Chalice in this game. Trinisphere in game 2, Chalice in game 3. It could be pretty bad news for Roland.
Still, I don't like these.
It's like
Trigger.
I don't know.
Okay, Roland's okay with the Ponder being countered here. We're trying to surveil, potentially fill up the graveyard for a Murktide, keep in mind. I spotted the one ring in Derek's hand. If Derek slams the one ring, it's going to be pretty damn good. When your Stompy opponent is at a high life total, slams the one ring, and starts going off, so to speak, you're in big trouble.
19. Draw.
All right, hiding behind a Chalice on one. Let's see what Derek has to follow up. All right, I think we're doing it. City into city, the one ring. Okay, Roland has a force pitching Murktide. Another Surveil. Did Roland just become Hellbent?
Did I overlook for?
Dumps a Lightning Bolt.
Oh, you did. You totally did. Yeah.
Voodoo says the real question is when will we restrict the one ring in Legacy? I'm against restrictions in Legacy. I would not like that.
I totally missed it.
It's like farming and store championships.
Is that true?
Dragon's Rage Channeler has grown to a 3 power. Ponder now, Surveil. Seems like Roland's Hellbent. So Derek's probably going to do whatever he wants. It's Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Not your help in choosing it.
I was digging.
Another Chromox for Derek. Imprint Pyro Blast.
I have no cards. Hellbent.
And a Chalice on 0 for some reason, I guess. Okay.
Is it playing combos?
Roland can't bobble, I guess.
Situation, but I'm like, I don't want to bring this on.
But Roland's Dragon's Rage Channeler is swinging away. Derek drops to 13. The Goblin Shaman won't be able to race it all on its own. Fable in the Mirror Breaker, discard a card, draw a card. Discarded Chalice, don't need that. 4 mana, uh-oh.
Into combat.
Okay, attack, make a treasure. There's the treasure.
Toronto overall is like really play. Literally do nothing.
Okay, using mana strangely here. I don't know if we needed to sack the treasure, but Pyrogoyf comes in. Kill the Dragon's Rage Channeler. At least that's what we're going to attempt to do.
See a DRC.
Roland's responded by fetching, though.
I would love to have artifacts.
5 power Pyrogoyf. That was a pretty good draw for Derek.
I'm going to keep it separated, targeting Chalice of the Void on 1 Surveil trigger.
Yep.
Okay, getting a Surveil while we can. Blowing up Chalice on 1 with a Braid.
Correct, but
Yeah, the looping of Pyrogoyf and Kiki Jiki in 2 turns is going to be... I don't even know if Roland's going to survive that long.
I'm surprised look at so many.
Based on how this game looks right now. Another Pyrogoyf off the top could end the game. Wasteland on City is pretty big, though.
It depends. If, like, a lot of the hand traps is for making pieces.
Okay, attack it for 7. Making a treasure. Roland drops to 9.
The best 2 cards.
If Derek untaps next turn with Reflections and Pyrogoyf, the game is won. Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, an extra attacker.
Get back.
That's the reason why I think.
Roland with 1 card in hand?
And tap.
Well, I mean, I was manic draw, but my hand was
Chalice on 0.
so it was like a give and take. Yeah. Like I was
Okay, moving to combat. Attack with everybody. Making a treasure. Attacking for 9. And Roland scoops it up. That is the match. Derek gets it. GG's.